Hey guys, I want to take a video to address the new documentary that's coming out, Game Changers. The Game Changers. This, I have not seen it. I don't think it's available just yet, but I see that Arnold has been promoting it, as well as a few other celebrities. Essentially, what I expect it will be is, like most other food documentaries that appear on Netflix or Hulu or wherever, propaganda. I think that as a society, we identify with certain groups, whether it be political parties, movements, ways of eating, and we identify with those groups, become part of those groups because we like those groups, and then afterwards we try to do acrobatics with the science to make the science fit what we personally believe. And we have seen this over and over, and veganism is not exclusive to that. Carnivore, the zealots of carnivore, some of the most critically thinking, devoid people I have ever had the displeasure of coming across. Keto zealots, low carb zealots, clean eating zealots, alkaline diet, just I could go on and on. In any case, I wanted to talk about this because what's different about this film is they've taken some high-level athletes who are vegans. Now, I want to point out that several of these high-level athletes, including Arnold when he was competing, did their competitions when they were eating meat, not when they were vegans. Now, that being said, can you build muscle eating vegan? Absolutely, absolutely. Can you be a high-level athlete eating vegan? Absolutely. There are quite a few high-level athletes currently competing who maintain a vegan lifestyle, at least they say they do. Does that mean it's the best thing you can do for your athletic performance? Probably not. Can you get enough protein in? Sure. The problem with vegan proteins is they typically are lower in the essential amino acids, or they are actually relatively devoid of certain essential amino acids. So it takes much more planning and much more thought and much more effort to get the nutrients that you require to function at a high level when you're on a vegan diet. It can be done. It's not nearly as easy as it is if you're using animal products. So that being said, if you are getting these nutrients you need, is there any reason to eat meat? That's debatable. It's hard to test. It's very hard to test. What I will say is most people who eat vegan are not going to be able to get the nutrients that they would like if they want to perform at the absolute highest level. Now, maybe that's not you. Maybe you don't want to perform, you don't care if you aren't performing at the 99.999 percentile. If you're somebody who just wants to look good and casually go to the gym, hey, you can do that being vegan and you can still build lean body mass and you can lose body fat being vegan. Absolutely. I would never argue that. Is it going to be as easy to build as much lean body mass and strength and get optimal body composition being vegan compared to having at least some animal products? I would argue no. Some people also make the longevity case and they say, well, look at all the data on meat and cancer and all these sorts of things. It's a separate argument, and I acknowledge that the diet for the best possible longevity may not be the same as the diet for increasing athletic performance and muscle mass as much as possible. They may not be the same. However, what I will say is that if you do a lot of the big things right, the difference between diets aren't huge. And let me give you an example of this. A lot of people will make it seem like if you eat, processed meat, a lot of processed meat, that like you're just gonna keel over any day. If you look at the statistics on eating a lot of processed meat, what you see are, a relative risk increase of like 15 to 20% in certain cancers. That sounds really scary, but it's a relative increase. You're talking about going from like 5% absolute risk to 6% absolute risk. So a 1% absolute risk increase. The difference between 5 and 6 being about 20%. That's a small overall difference. But again, if you're going for optimal longevity, it's something to consider. However, keep in mind that the reason that meat is associated and animal products tend to be associated with higher mortality rates, also these same things are not seen with, say, like fish and not so much with chicken, is because red meat in particular has much higher fat content and saturated fat content Additionally, a lot of meats that are cooked at high temperatures, like charring or smoking at very high temperatures, the charred portions contain heterocyclic amines as well as polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Both of these molecules have been shown to be carcinogenic. Again, when I say that, people think, oh my God, carcinogenic. And they think immediately like tobacco and nicotine. Let me just put it to you this way. When we talked about a relative risk increase of 15 to 20%, you talk about smoking cigarettes, you're talking about thousands of percent of increase in cancer risk. So, bringing this all back together, is eating a mostly plant-based diet probably pretty healthy? Sure. I also would argue there's no reason you can't consume animal products in moderation as part of a very healthy diet that's still great for longevity. If you choose to not eat animal products because you believe killing animals is wrong, then hey, that's fine. The only thing I would ask is don't try to distort the science to fit your personal beliefs. But hey, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. And in the case of vegan zealots, it's usually a lot of bullshit. So I will leave you with that pun. I'm sure I've pissed off everybody with this video, but make sure to take your anger out by smashing the like button, subscribing, and buying some of our high quality shit. Thank you.